there is an online dump of Chinese hacking documents which offered a rare window into pervasive state surveillance. So there's this company called iSoon. And basically what it was is like hackers for hire.
Yeah.
And what it looks like is that the Chinese government, because their client list had Chinese government stuff on there, right?
Yeah.
Is that this company's kind of masquerading as this like cybersecurity company, but actually what it is like the government was paying them to hack people.
Yeah,
right?
and to develop tools to hack international organizations.
Yeah, so what happened was there was a disgruntled employee.
Seems like a disgruntled employee.
So it seems like, and via Twitter, they leaked stuff on GitHub. I guess it was like 190 megabyte file or something, and it had like client lists, victim sheets, and all like what the software.
I think it was bigger than that. I think it was a couple terabytes.
Okay, sorry,
anyway.
thought it was smaller. Anyway, are you sure? I'm pretty sure it was 190 megabyte file on GitHub.
I could be wrong.
Okay, anyway, on GitHub, which is like kind of like a programmer forum, this was leaked, and then people are going absolutely crazy about it. So I have some things about it right
GitHub is great. That's where you can put designs for 3D printing or whatever. Like, it's being used by everyone.
Yeah, so this is from Washington Post. I guess this is one of the translations they did. It says, following the target, place links and induce targets to click on the evidence collection link. After the click is successful, you can obtain the target's Twitter account permission. So this is hacking social media accounts.
Yeah, it's how to hack. They've got tools to basically trick people into clicking on links that then they can gain access to your Twitter account, even if you have two-factor authentication enabled.
Yeah.
And then they hijack people's Twitter accounts. We see this a lot. A lot of the attacks that we get and the propaganda on Twitter come from obvious Chinese sources.
Because it looks like a real account.
And sometimes it is. Just a hijacked account. So there'll be an account that maybe hasn't been active for a couple of years, suddenly spewing out Chinese propaganda.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and it looks legit. It's like it's something that was started in 2007 or something by a dude, but it's a hijacked account.
Yes. I'll just go through these real quick. I have a clip from the news which actually explains it pretty easily.
Oh, okay.
There's another thing here. It says, India, the main targets are the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Defense of India. So it looks like they were, I mean, if these turn out to be true.
Oh, it's pretty true. I'm 100%. I am convinced it's true.
This is definitely what you want.
Yes,
I assure.
Yes, where is
This
that?
is definitely what you want, I assure.
Sustained deep penetration tracing of these, this is getting naughty, of these units offers the ability to unearth long-term value. So these are, I guess they're starting to translate some of this stuff because there's a lot of stuff there, right? It says the documents show how apparent iSoon hacking of networks across Central and Southeast Asia, as well as Hong Kong and the self-ruled island of Taiwan, which Beijing claims is territory. Obviously, why?
Yeah, these are some of the big targets. Yeah.
We know why they would want to hack Taiwan, especially around the election time, right?
Yeah.
The hacking tools are used by Chinese state agents to unmask users of social media platforms outside of China, such as X, formerly known as Twitter, break into email and hide the online activity of overseas
Do you know why
agents.
that's important?
Why?
It's because if you've got a dissident on Twitter, for instance, they rely on the fact that they can anonymously post something. So they might post some very important information about the Chinese government, or they post anti-CCP stuff on Twitter. They can use these tools to unmask them, find out their real identities, and then they can go and intimidate them, send people to go and mess with them, mess with their families in China, etc.
Yeah. So that's actually the whole idea in China is like, of course, the Chinese government has access to everyone's social media in China, and they know who everyone is just because of how things work. Yeah. But when you use a VPN, let's say you're a Chinese guy in China and use a VPN to make an anonymous account on social media, let's say Facebook or Twitter or whatever, YouTube. The government, if they think, I guess, if they want to use these like hackers for hire or whatever, they can use their tools to figure out who you are, right? Yes. And that kind of disrupts the whole protection of being anonymous abroad, right? Yes. They're jumping the firewall already, taking a risk doing this, and now potentially they can figure out who they are. And that's kind of like an intimidation tactic in itself. Yeah. If you think about it.
Yeah, I like this part of it.
190 megabyte leak.
You're right. I was thinking of another leak, a different one.
Leaky faucet.
There leaks happen all the time, man.
That's true.
Anyway, something that they're talking about here is that they also described devices disguised as power strips and batteries that can be used to compromise Wi-Fi networks. Yes. By the way, just a little PSA to everyone out there, and this is something you should be aware of. When you're traveling and you're inside of airports, and they have those free chargers on the wall, where it's like charge your phone, you plug your cable into it, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Yeah. Maybe plug in your power bank or something to charge your power bank. Don't plug your phone into those things, because a lot of these sort of PowerPoints where you charge, they can be compromised and they can actually inject malicious code onto your phone.
Yes.
Because you are plugging your phone into a device which can then talk to it and potentially infect it with something. So just don't do it. And this, again, just reiterates that. And power banks. So, hey, you could be buying a power bank from Temu or something, and it arrives and it comes straight from China. It could be
who knows,
a hacking device.
Who knows? Maybe the seller doesn't even know.
Yeah.
Right.
Power strips too. So just be careful.
Yes. So also, this is a little hole I found in China's story about this.
Okay, what is China's story?
So let's look at this. Can you?
What is China's story?
It says, until the 190 megabyte leak, iSoon's website included a page listing clients topped by the Ministry of Public Security, so that's a Chinese government organization.
Yeah.
Including 11 provincial level security bureaus and some 40 municipal public security bureaus. Okay.
Oh, departments, yeah.
Departments, sorry. Another page available until early Tuesday advertised advanced persistent threat attack and defense capabilities using an acronym APT, one of the cybersecurity industry employs to describe the world's most sophisticated hacking groups. Internal documents in the leak describe iSoon's database of hacked data collected from foreign networks around the world that are advertised and sold to the Chinese police. So go to the next slide. Okay. I'm going to show you a little hole here.
Sure. Next slide coming up.
So this is from the BBC. Which they're obviously this is from the UK, right? They're going to focus on what if the UK was implicated in this, right?
Yes,
it says a Chinese cybersecurity firm claimed it had the ability to hack the UK's Foreign Office, leaked documents suggest. A little worrying.
Yeah.
It says UK government agencies, think tanks, businesses, and charities also appeared in the leaked iSoon data. Other documents hint at successful hacks of public bodies and businesses across Asia and Europe, but it is not yet clear if they are compromised. The identity of the leaker is unknown. China's UK embassy, so this is the Chinese government.
Okay, that's what they said
it was unaware of the leak and said China firmly opposes and combats all forms of cyber attacks in accordance with the law. Well, are you sure about that? So that's China at an official capacity saying that they condemn this kind of stuff when they were on the client sheet, apparently.
Yeah.
Liar.
Of course they don't condemn this. They want this. They
freaking did it.
Been doing this since the 90s. They love this. This is their bread and butter. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It is. They just exist only to hack.
Yes. Anyway, continue. We'll play the clip.
Okay, let's play a little clip for you.
There's an expert talks about it.
Okay, good. It's always good to have experts on. You know.
Yes. I'll just read the rest of the article here.
Okay.
It says, iSoon's tools appear to be used by Chinese police to curb dissent on overseas social media. So you're right. Yep. It's about basically controlling the narrative for Chinese dissidents.
And flood them with pro-Beijing content. That's what I said. When they hijack these accounts and they start posting this BS propaganda.
Yeah, and you're on Twitter a lot. You see this all the time.
Yeah.
Authorities can surveil Chinese social media platforms directly and order them to take down anti-government posts, but they lack the ability on overseas sites like Facebook or X, where millions of Chinese users flock in order to evade state surveillance and censorship. There's a huge interest in social media monitoring and commenting on the part of the Chinese government, said Mareike Olberg, a senior fellow in the Asia program of German Marshall Fund. She reviewed some of the documents. To control public opinion and forestall anti-government sentiment, Olberg said, control of critical posts domestically is pivotal. Chinese authorities, she said, have a big interest in tracking down users who are based in China. The source of the leak could be a rival intelligence service, a dissatisfied insider, or even a rival contractor, said the chief threat analyst, John Holtquist of Google's Mandiant Cybersecurity Division. The data indicates iSoon sponsored also include the Ministry of State Security and China's military, the People's Liberation Army. So, I mean, this was not a little mom and pop hacker service stuff. This is clearly, it's some big clients that are looking for stuff that they don't like.
Yeah, of course.
So just looking at this will sum it up.
Okay, let's sum it up then, shall we? Let's take a look.
These police are investigating hundreds of files leaked online last week. They purport to show Beijing's government agencies carrying out large-scale cyber attacks against foreign governments, companies, and more. The hundreds of files, images, and chats posted online are from a Chinese state-linked hacking group called iSoon, the office of which is seen in this video. The company was hired to break into the websites of firms across the world and exploit what hackers claim to be vulnerabilities in companies' software systems. I want to bring in now Charles Clancy. He is the Chief Technology Officer of MITRE, a nonprofit company that studies national security issues. So, Charles, you testified on Capitol Hill earlier this month about the threat that China poses to U.S. infrastructure, and you predicted a large-scale cyber attack within 3 years. Do you believe that this attack is already underway?
I think over the last decade, we've seen dramatic increase in Chinese cyber attacks against the United States. But to be clear, really, the pattern of the last decade has been hacking into U.S. companies, U.S. government agencies, and research institutions, really to steal information. I think what we're seeing, though, particularly with China and their cyber program, is a shift from just hacking with the goal of stealing information to hacking with the goal of being able to exploit and destroy infrastructure.
And it's highly unusual for a leak of this nature to occur in China. Talk to us about its significance.
Yeah, I think a leak like this is rare in any country, including China. Certainly, the autocratic regime that we see in China is something that would limit people feeling comfortable doing an attack, a leak like this. I think that it clearly was done by a disgruntled insider, I think is the working theory, although we don't quite know yet. And it certainly provides a lot of information about the inner workings of the company iSoon.
So tell us how U.S. officials should respond now.
Well, interestingly, the information didn't show widespread attacks against the U.S. directly. Much of the discussion and the chats and so forth and the capabilities that were described were targeting other Southeast Asian countries. So I think this is an opportunity for the U.S. to really engage with those countries to highlight the risks that they face and really present a more united international cyber defensive front against China.
All right, Charles Clancy, thank you.
I actually want to segue into something super quick, something we saw. Yeah. In regards to the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative, is that this is an opportunity for countries to see that even when China is pretending to be your friend, they're pretending to be like, yeah, we're going to work together against the USA and all the West and all this stuff. And we're going to give you infrastructure projects. We're going to help you with your digital infrastructure, 5G networks, things like this.
Yep.
They're hacking and spying on you.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Remember the African Union building they built?
Yeah.
And then all the different government people moved in, and then they found microphones and hidden surveillance equipment in the building that China built for them.
Yes.
You know, it's just the way it goes.
It's so on the nose, like China's goals in the world. It's self-serving. It's to build an empire. Let's be totally honest.
Yeah.
And I think this is just another step to show that this is the case. We saw something in in Montenegro.
Oh yeah.
You actually get into that in your video, but like these unbelievable devastation that China's created in some of these countries that it's partnering to help.
Yeah, it's insane.
And it's just for really awful, terrible reasons.
Yeah.
Right. And I think this just goes to highlight that.
That's such Chinese humor. Let's see what he's doing.
今天心情不太好，我莫名。
That's funny.